Recently, I played Subway Surfers for 10 hours straight, and it was a terrible idea. Subway Surfers just reached its 10-year anniversary, and I remember playing this game back when I was in middle school. Every day I would get on while waiting for boys volleyball to start, since we had to wait for the girls to finish practice first. But it's been a while, and I wanted to see how good of a score I could get with a brand new file in 10 hours to play. So I downloaded the game and started this terrible idea. Now, Subway Surfers is a simple game where you run from the police and dodge trains. If you mess up, you lose the level, and you get faster the farther you go. But at the start of the challenge, I wasn't doing the greatest. Yeah, not the best first score, but here's where I decided what my goal would be: to reach 1 million points in a single run, so I was about 1/400th of the way there. But on another note, thankfully to give us a better start, the game grants new players 10,000 coins, so this was the perfect chance to get some upgrades to my power-ups. Every game we get these power-ups at random places, and they either help you survive or get you more points, so it made sense to upgrade them. I didn't really have a game plan yet though, so it was some pretty random upgrades with no regard to the money I spent. I'd come to regret this soon. But for the next hour, I just played. I was getting used to the game again and needed to stop playing terribly, but within this hour I learned a couple of things. First is the score multiplier. In Subway Surfers, you start out with a score multiplier of 1 and can get it up to 30 by doing the game's missions. Each mission is different and they get harder as you do more, but I knew that if I wanted any chance of reaching 1,000,000 points, I needed to get my multiplier as high as possible. And the second thing I learned was the respawn system. You can either use keys or just watch ads to respawn after a run dies. And for the ads one, you can watch up to 6 per run before it stops you, which I realized would make my challenge of 1,000,000 points way too easy, so I changed my goal to get 1,000,000 points without respawning at all, even though that was gonna end up being a bit harder than I thought. But my first hour went by pretty quickly. I was able to get 50,000 points, but couldn't do much more. At the start of the second hour though, I learned about the score booster. On a whim, I decided to click it and quickly realized that it ups your score multiplier by 5, 6, or 7 depending on how many you use. And since my multiplier was still low, this was insanely effective. I didn't even realize how fast I was gaining points. I got to 80,000 before my guy even started going fast and destroyed my previous record by a score of 112,000. Unfortunately though, we have a limited number of these, so I decided not to use the rest for now. And after that, I was getting a bit bored of using Jake and unlocked the next character, Lucy. Yeah, I could have spent this money on upgrading my power-ups instead, but I gotta have a little fun. I also decided to buy her goth outfit for 15 keys, which I was really gonna regret later, but at least we get to look stylish in our regret. And then it was time for some more grinding. Not gonna lie though, no longer using the score multiplier was kinda demoralizing given how much better my runs would be with it, but I just told myself they're gonna be much more useful later on. And thankfully, after many attempts, I was able to end off hour 2 with a quality 160,000 score. Still very far away from the goal, but we're getting there. Then after that, I decided it was time to get another new character. Gotta keep the variety up. And this time it was Tagbot, but I just didn't really gel with him like I did with Lucy. Got some okay runs for a while, but nothing noteworthy. I did get lucky though and got another character, Tricky, for free, so that's pretty cool. Especially since after way too much grinding, Tricky worked out perfectly and helped me get up to 250,000 points. So we're officially 1/4 of the way there. It was kinda while using 3 score boosters though, since I needed to for a mission, but I'm still gonna take the achievement. My mental needed it. And from there, we checked out the events. Subway Surfers has a few events that can only be accessed by select characters. Then after you play that event, that character will have a cooldown until you can do the event again. But your combined score of all the runs during an event can give additional prizes, so it was basically just a might as well thing. Oh, I also received the up rock board from the current season hunt. You might have noticed the floating sandwiches placed around the game. By collecting these, we can get additional rewards as well. And this one is pretty nice because with the up rock board, we get an additional +1 score multiplier from the crew multiplier. And that's completely separate from our regular one, so not too big of a deal, but I'll take all the points I can get. And after that, like usual, back to the grind. For the next hour, I worked on completing as many missions as I could while trying to get a new PB. I also bought the ninja cause might as well, and finally got a run after the 4-hour mark. Now at this point, I kinda just know early on if the run is gonna be good or not. You just feel something inside of you by the way you're playing, and this time I felt laser focused. I reached the point where no matter how fast my ninja guy was moving, it didn't matter. But to be fair, it also helped that I had a ton of skateboards saved up from my previous 4 hours of runs too. Each skateboard gives you a free hit of damage so you don't get caught. but after you lose one by either getting hit or its timer running out, you need to wait around 5 seconds before using the next one. And with all that, remember when my old high score was 258,000? Well, how about we double that? And this was the confidence booster I needed, especially since I was only at an 18 times score multiplier and pulling off runs like this. So it was just a matter of time before reaching my goal. Hopefully. And with this new sense of confidence, I knew I could put off grinding good scores for a while, and instead I completely focused on completing my missions and getting keys. See, there's a character that gives you an additional 3 times score multiplier just by unlocking them, but they cost 100 keys. Yeah, I was really regretting spending that 15 keys on the goth outfit right about now. But that's fine, because along with regular missions, this game also has achievements, and the achievements give you additional keys. Now there are some really cool achievements like the Gold Cautious one where you need to not collect keys for a certain amount of points, or Mission Master where you have to complete multiple missions in one run. But then there's missions like these ones too. No acrobatics and straight ahead. In these 2 missions, you're prevented from using basic movement for a really long period of time. So how do you do these? Well, you cheese them. The best way to win these missions is to use a head start at the beginning along with a score booster. Then, since it's pretty much impossible to survive for too long, you need to die and revive yourself with keys or ads. Oh, and like I said, I still won't be using revives for my 1 million run, but for these achievement hunting runs, I think it's fair game. And watching ads is our only real option since I'm saving up keys, so yeah, time to do this for the next while. So for the next 3 hours, here was my game plan. I saved up money to buy head starts and score boosters while completing general missions. Then once I could afford them, I did a couple of achievements before going back and repeating the process. Oh, and another thing is some of the general missions were starting to get insane, like collect 30,000 coins. Luckily, you can either buy the missions out or watch an ad to complete them. I'm making Subway Surfers so much money with these ads. And finally, once I got over 7 hours into the challenge, I reached level 30. This meant my basic multiplier was capped, and there was only one last piece of the puzzle, our 100 key character, and I only had 9 more to go. Oh, by the way, I unlocked Franket in the season hunt, and they're lovely. And then surprisingly, we got another PB. This was before I got my 100 keys, and it was honestly an insane run. But that only made it hurt more when it failed. 710,000 though, that's good, right? Yeah, it was time to finish this last achievement, get my 100 keys, and we finally got her. Kathy. What is in her locker? This final upgrade increased our multiplier up to 34, and we were ready to beat the challenge. Well, I guess technically I still gotta go to 10 hours, but whatever, I just wanted to get my million points now. Oh, by the way, little cuteness break. Look at my cute kitty cat Reese's. But after that adorable intervention, I played for a bit, but couldn't really get anything going, so I decided to go full degen. I watched ads and ads and ads and even more ads to get up to 15 head starts and 15 score boosters. This would allow me to do 5 runs with full boost, and by the start of hour 10, I was ready. Well, ready to lose. See, I only had so many hoverboards and didn't want to waste them on bad runs. So I made a rule for myself to only start using them if we reached 500,000 points. And there goes 4 runs in the blink of an eye. That's fine though, we still have 1 more and plenty of time. And for this 5th run, I just decided to remove the hoverboard restriction. Oh, and by the way, this run was absolutely insane. Right after my head start ended, I got 2 jetpacks which very quickly put me to 210,000 points. Then I brought out the boards and just played out of my mind. I had that feeling again. The feeling when you know it's going to be a good run, but I also felt like if I didn't reach the 1 million points now, my exhaustion was never going to let me hit it. So I focused up as much as possible, and even though I kept using skateboards, they were barely even necessary. It didn't matter how fast Kathy got, I reacted well and kept on playing. And finally, before I knew it, we reached 1 million points. But I wasn't stopping there. I still had plenty of time until I reached the 10 hours. The only problem being my boards. I was slowly running out, and that did make me a bit more nervous than I should have been. And eventually, those nerves got the best of me, which ended my run just before 2 million points. Legitimately right below my original goal. So that was pretty cool. And by the way, the run was so good that I'm going to put the full thing up on my second channel, EazySpeezy, so check it out if you're interested. But after that, I just kinda aimlessly played, and finally, I hit the 1 hour mark. Please subscribe to restore my sanity.